Something has changed. I have a XLR mic to start now, but enough about me. Let's talk about the model I decided to do a video uh, on this month, and what I painted on first before I actually made a video about them. Let's talk about the Stormcast Eternal. We begin by first converting the models using the new Pete the Wargamer Dead Animal bits for More Games Atlantic. I have a big sprue of the stuff early since I did the Kickstarter. And now we'll be splitting up this list into separate parts just so that I don't split my own head open. For this time, here's all the bases that we'll be needing for the beginning of this model. Once all the fancies are added, start repriming the model in ossified earth all over. For the first actual paint, apply Dragonfang over all of the model, specifically over all the armor that isn't the trim. Moving on to the leader plume with Corn Red, be careful not to get the paint onto the helmet while painting it. Time for the handles on the sword and hammers, using Royal Cloak carefully over them all. Continue on with Rhinox Hide, going over all the straps, belts and sheaths. Then finish the matte base paint with Corvus Black, applied over all the under armor. Start the base metallics with Lead Belcher, going over all the hammers and the scale skirt. And apply Warplock Bonds over all the trim, trinkets, and symbols, and the basing step is complete. And now it's time for the shading. Here is all the paints I used. Now then, let's get to painting. Before we begin, wash out the paint pot and get new water. Then start shading with Seraphim Sepia over all the plate armor and bones. Then, apply Agrax Earthshade over all the brass, leather, and parchment details on the model. Time for Nuln Oil. This goes carefully over all the silver and black details. Next up, super carefully shade the red with Berserker's Bloodshade, making sure that only the hair thingy is the only one shaded with this colour. And the final shade paint for this step is Carroburg Crimson, going over the handles of the hammers and swords. After that, it's onto the shading step. Onto the layering step. There are a lot more paints in this step than the basing step. Here is all 9 layering paints I used in this step. So let's begin! Start the step with a Shavty Bone. This goes over all the bones and the plate armor of the model. Continue on with Razdacker Red. Try to focus this layer paint on a lot of the strands of the tuft, as there will be another layer paint later on. Time for a base paint being used as a layer. Apply Screamer Pink over the edges of the handles of the weapons. While the previous step dries, layer on some powdered British flesh over the parchment details, leaving the shade in the writing untouched. Onto the leather now. Apply some Baneblade Brown onto the edges of it to give the leather a weathered style, as if this isn't the only battle it has seen. Afterwards, apply the final matte layer before the metallics. It is Troll Slayer Orange. Paint some onto the sharpest edges of the tuft, usually the highest placed parts. Now onto the metallics with Hasher Copper, going over all the bronze details. Do the final metallic with Mithril Blade over all the hammers and skirts. Then wash out the water pot for the final layering paint before the final step. The final layer paint is Bahaworth Blue, going over the eyes and gems, then watered down for a freehand of a lightning effect over the hammerhead, and as a recess paint on said hammer. Now the base will be themed with a ground tainted by Shyish magics. We will need some rich purples to show that detail. Let's get to it! Start off with sterling mud all over the base. While it is a brown, we will be fixing that in the next part. The actual Shyish corruption starts now, with the shading of Druchii Violet. Apply this over all of the base. Onto the raised details now. Dry brush on some zero-use purple over the ground to show the light hitting those points. Tidy up the rim with Doom Death Black. Abaddon Black works here as well, but I kinda ran out of this stuff. Finish up with both Morden Corpse Grass and Alien Purple 6mm. This is to show that while a lot of grass has died in Shyish, some of it's mutated and is now starting to glow with that deathly purple. And there you have it, my custom Stormcast force using the new Dead Animal bits for more Games Atlantic. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to grab some dice from the Scrapyard Orc. A link will be in the description and comments so you can grab yourself some custom dice.